Seats in the kitchen also. There's some seats over there. There's couch seats. There's regular seats. Azay Hashem, Baruch Hashem. See that white chair? You want to bring this white chair? You got that? There's 2 chairs. Couches. Chairs here. Chairs here. Couch, probably the best in the house. Just saying. We have enough chairs. We're good. Look at that. It's like literally momish perfect. Amazing. Thank you guys, first of all, for coming out tonight for a beautiful, beautiful Malava Malka with Rabbi Meir Alkabaz. Welcome to Rabbi Meir Alkabaz. Round of applause. All the way from the holy city of Yerushalayim. We also have music here from Jimmy Costello, who will be here all night playing. Truly and Julie Booker coming here. We have a lot more musicians coming here. It's going to be a lot of fun. Music, food should be here probably very soon. So it's coming. It's coming. So we're very thankful again that we can have this chut to do another amazing event here. We just moved into this community about almost 4 weeks ago, and it's been unbelievable so far. And part of the, I think, feeling and energy that I'd like to try to bring to this community is just try to continue to bring a lot of spiritual energy and fun and excitement to Judaism. And even though there's a lot of stuff going on here, we can always use more, and especially in the world of simcha and happiness and joy, which is obviously something that is important. Also, the fact that I feel like it's been Breslov month so far. So I call it Breslov month. We had our first event with Rav Nosson Ryman and Rav Chaim Kramer together, which is unbelievable. And then obviously last week, for those that partook in the Lighthouse aspect, we had Rav Shalom Arush, which was unbelievable. And today, Baruch Hashem, we have Rabbi Meir Alkabaz. Rabbi Meir Alkabaz, just to give you a big background, originally from Toronto, and moved out to Yerushalayim. He's one of the top English-speaking Breslov teachers in the world today. And you know, if you ever go on Breslov.org or you go on YouTube and you ever want to look about something about the Parsha, for example, as an example, he has tons of classes, and they're not like, you know, not all of them are crazy long, but if you want to get some ideas, whatever it is, he's my go-to guy. He doesn't even know. I'm like every single week listening to your classes weekly, which is amazing. And he has something called Breslov therapy. Breslov therapy. How would you define Breslov therapy? I mean, exactly say that. You have an issue, you have a problem. Chapter 17, Likutei Moharan. It's like that. Right, exactly. Like literally, Rabbi Nachman has the medicine for whatever issue or challenge, God forbid, that a person has in life, and you got it knocked down cold. Like you just know there's an issue, go read that, like that. So it's unbelievable all the work that you do. And it's a huge merit for all of us to be here. And again, I want to thank Hashem for the opportunity to be not only be able to host you here, but at the same time have all of you guys here so we can learn Torah. Tonight's Torah we'll be learning Leila Nishmat, Devorah Fega Bat Shmuel Zichrono Livracha, Menachem Mendel Ben Elchanan Zichrono Livracha. If anybody needs me to say for Refuah Shlema, anybody say now?
Nishmat Aaron Ben Ali.
Aaron Ben Ali.
Simcha Bunim Ben Chaya Sima.
Simcha Bunim
Ben Chaya Sima.
Hana Bat?
Esther and Chaim Barkley as Ruben Wassens.
Hashem's, I already heard that. That's right. No, I'm saying Hashem heard, it's a long name. Beautiful, beautiful. Refuah shlema.
Amen.
Amen, amen.
רפואה שלמה לרחל רבקה.
רפואה שלמה שינה פרו בת הארץ. Really just smash down there.
Okay, amazing. Another thing, and just putting it out there now for you guys who want to look at it later on. Part of the reason also why Rav Meir is out on tour, he's been touring the United States. Part of it also has to do with the fact that he is marrying off his third daughter, Baruch Hashem, in less than a month. It's less than a month.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. So, as you know, doing the holy work that he does, it's not easy. But Baruch Hashem, he's going out. If anybody wants to help in that manner, we have 2 different ways of doing it. You can see here, there's a whole area where you can donate from that. Also, just in general, I was reading this. It's so beautiful. I'm going to just say that. Helping brides get married. One of the most important charity a person can do is marrying off brides, which is called Haknasat Kala. Now it says here, Jewish sources indicate that participating in the mitzvah of Haknasat Kala provides a person with many personal benefits. And it's well known in the Mishnah in Masechet Peah that we say in the morning prayers. It's list Haknasat Kala among the select few commandments that benefit a person both in this world and in the next world, right? It's also sources across the board say that if a person gives for this mitzvah, it assists one in finding a spouse, being blessed with children, and being saved from a life-threatening illness, chas v'shalom. So it's putting that out there. You can donate through different manners if you'd like. And we'll just leave that here. And Bezrat Hashem, food will be here after the shiur. Tonight we're going to be learning about
Simcha.
Simcha?
And chinuch.
Chinuch children.
That's the goal. We'll get to that.
And Bezrat Hashem, once the class is done, please hang around. We're going to have live music, food, more l'chaim. Should be amazing. So enjoy.
What's up, everybody? It's nice to be in hot Miami. I don't think I can live here. I'm always schwitzing. It's ridiculous. Okay, in any event, we're going to start off to show, first of all, we're going to get to chinuch. That's the goal. But first, you have to see how Simcha plays such a very fundamental role in Judaism, in life, in Torah, in everything, okay? First starting point is the Chumash itself. The Chumash in Parashat Kitavo, which is towards the end of the Chumash. We did it in the summer, before Shoshana. In Parashat Kitavo, you have a list of 98 curses. This will happen and that will happen, all types of punishments, okay? And it says, all this is happening because why? Achat asher lo avadtem et Hashem Elokecha b'simcha uvtuv levav. It's not a Hasidic word here. It's a Chumash pasuk. Okay. All this is happening because you didn't serve Hashem with joy and with a good heart. Merov kol, when you had everything, and you're still not happy. Note, the pasuk doesn't say all these punishments is because you're not serving Hashem, which you would think that's the case, or you're serving Hashem or you're not. No, you could be serving Hashem, the Torah is telling us, but if it's not b'simcha, so there is inevitably the downward thrust towards coming to porek all, which means to leaving it, dropping it, and eventually having these punishments come. The Torah is telling us these punishments will come not because you're putting on tefillin or not putting tefillin. It's how you're putting on tefillin. It's how you're keeping Shabbat. It's how you're living. Do you have what's called simchat chaim? Do you have joy in yourself? As a Jew, by the way, we have so many mitzvot that our life constitutes doing mitzvot. It's a famous teaching. We say it every day. Rabbi Hanania ben Akasha Omer, רצה הקדוש ברוך הוא לזכות את ישראל, לפיכך הרבה להם תורה ומצוות, שנאמר, השם חפץ למען צדקו יגדיל תורה ויגדיל. Translation, Rabbi Hanania ben Akasha says, Hashem wanted to give merit to the Jewish people, so he gave them tons of Torah and mitzvot. Rav Nosson asked, that's a merit? That's a burden. It's a burden. So many Torah and mitzvot, you love me, you give me so many Torah and mitzvot, that's a burden. What is this? He says just the opposite. Because there's so many Torah and mitzvot, every time you turn and do something, inevitably there's like 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 mitzvot involved. You just walked, you did a bracha, you opened the door for somebody, you could be doing this mitzvah, that mitzvah. There's so many There's 613 mitzvot and their byproducts and byproducts of byproducts, etc. There's so many, they're intertangled and intertwined and interconnected. There's so many mitzvot in the life of a Jew. So your life as a Jew, whether you know about it or don't know about it, whether you like it or not, it's connected to mitzvot, okay? So now what's needed is living, which means by us doing mitzvot, that's living with joy. That's what the Torah is telling us here. Simchat mitzvah, that's what counts. More than this, Rav Nosson, which is Rabbi Nachman's main disciple, he writes a very powerful statement. He says, believe it or not, that the joy in doing a mitzvah is even greater than the mitzvah. You hear this? It's even greater than the mitzvah. So we think, if that's the case, so why push the mitzvah aside? Let me just drink a bottle, get high, and be happy all day. I did it. No. It's specifically the mitzvah, the simcha that's generated from tefillin, from Shabbat, from Etrog, from Yom Kippur, from Tzedakah, from Talmud Torah. That simcha is what we need, because it's a simcha that's lasting, and that's gonna change me, and that's gonna bring me up, as opposed to the simcha from just a bottle of vodka with no reason. Okay. So that's, by the way, a Gemara. There's a beautiful Gemara, Masechet Brachot, Daf Lamed, page 3. There are two rabbis there, Amoraim Tanaim, Rabbi Zera and Abaye. Both were exceedingly happy. They were exceedingly happy, and they were criticized. One rabbi said to Rabbi Zera, how could you do that? Pasuk says, Vegilu bir'ada. You should rejoice, but with trepidation, have a limitation in your joy, not too much joy. Abaye was criticized for another pasuk, a pasuk from Proverbs, Mishlei, which says, Bechol etzev yiyeh motar, which the Gemara's translation is as following, Bechol etzev, in sadness, yiyeh motar, there's a yitaron, an advantage to having some sadness in life. So what? Be happy, be happy, be happy. It's good to have some sadness to restrict you. Both rabbis answered the same answer. Hey buddy, well, I didn't say hey buddy, but I'm wearing tefillin. They both said, Kamanachna tefillin. I'm wearing tefillin. Because I'm wearing tefillin, I have every right to be exceedingly happy. There's no limitation. That's what the Gemara says there. That when it comes to joy in doing mitzvot, there is no limitation. In this area, there's no worry that you're going to get overboard and you're going to get lightheaded, because that's the worry. What's the worry of being too happy? Why does it also teach in the Gemara that a person shouldn't fill his mouth with schok piv in this world? You shouldn't be too happy. The answer is, with this world, yes, you're not supposed to be so happy. But when you take this world and connect it to Hashem, and you're happy about it, the guy buys a Lamborghini. Why? So he can drive around Rabbi David Pinto, to here, to there, and everything. He buys it for a good reason. He buys 3 lots to buy a giant house. So he can have 10 bedrooms. So he can do every Shabbat achnasat orchim for 10 guests and have a giant table. That's what he has in mind. Okay, he's taking the gashmiut, the physicality, connecting it to God, and he's happy about it. You're allowed to overdo it in that case, and we're not worried that you're going to go overboard and fall off, etc. This is the attitude that Hashem wants, that the Torah wants us to be simcha, and not to be limited, not to think, no, I have to be cool, I have to be normal, and I'll be, always happy. Just opposite. In doing mitzvot, you have to be happy. You need that attitude, because if not, there's a big chance when you're hit in life, and like Rabbeinu Tam says in his book, Sefer HaYashar, everybody walking on the earth gets hit in life sooner or later. Some get hit when they're young, some in the middle age, someone later on, but everybody gets hit. And your attitude when you're faced with that test will determine everything, the outcome, how you took it, okay? So now the Torah is telling us, if now you have what's called simchat mitzvah, which translates as simcha in life, and you're working on it, and you're in it, and it's part of you 24/7, until it's coming out of your nose even. It's so much simcha in your life. When chas shalom, Shem Rachem, a person does get that major challenge in life, since he's so much in tune to simcha, by reflex, by instinct, a person now knows what's the area to invest. So with this said, Rabbi Nachman introduces that with a depth of a pasuk that we all know. There's a pasuk which is said normally Motzei Shabbat, Ki besimcha tetzeu, which translates, the simple meaning is that when Mashiach comes, the future redemption, we will come out with joy. In other words, it'll be such a celebration throughout the world with all the Jews coming back to Eretz Yisrael. Nachman retranslates the verse like this. Ki besimcha, for through joy, you will come out of what? Come out of what? Of anything. Anytime you are faced with a major challenge in life, the answer and the solution and the means, everything, he says, is joy. It's not just the means. You tell people on these therapy classes on being positive thinking and everything, you gotta be happy, you gotta be positive, everything, and it'll lead you eventually to the solution. Here, Rabbi Nachman teaches us that joy itself is the means and it is the solution, meaning what? That this is where you should invest. We're gonna tell two stories now, one true story and one parable. It's a funny story, I guess. The true story involves Rav Zusha of Anipoli and his brother, Rav Elimelech of Lizhensk. They, for a time, went traveling from village to village incognito. They dressed up as regular people so no one should know who they are. And they did whatever they did in these villages. They came by one village where they had a curfew in that village. 8 p.m., nobody is out on the streets. If you're out on the streets, the police arrest you, even if you're innocent. As a precaution, a preliminary precaution for the city, they took anyone on the streets after 8 p.m., put them in jail, innocent people, as a precaution against robbers, thieves, murderers, burglars, etc. Okay? So Rav Zusha, Rav Elimelech, they got to this village about 10 to 8, and they didn't have enough time to prepare lodgings where to be. So at 8 p.m., they're on the streets, the police saw them, they arrested them, these two big tzaddikim, put them in a jail cell, a big room, okay, with mattresses around, and the toilet in the middle of the room, okay? The bathroom was in the middle, and the room was filled with Jews and goyim, innocent, and criminals, and everybody was like sad and down. And Rav Elimelech also was sad and down. So Rav Zusha said to his brother, "Why are you sad? What's wrong? Why am I sad? I can't daven, because when you're in presence of a bathroom or toilet, you can't daven. I can't say Kriyat Shema. I can't pray. I can't do any devotions to God. I'm just here stuck like a nobody doing nothing. I have no connection to Hashem right now in the situation. How am I supposed to be happy right now?" So Rav Zusha told his brother just the opposite now. You have to be very, very, very happy now. He said, why? He reminded him, he couldn't say the halacha, you're not to talk about it. He reminded him the halacha that says in Shulchan Aruch, that if now you're in a scenario like this, and it comes time to say Kriyat Shema or Arvit, whatever, and you can't because of the situation, so what do? You say in your heart, Ribono Shel Olam, I want to do your will, but I can't because of the situation. So Yirat Son, it should be your will, Hashem, that should be considered as if Ki'ilu I did the mitzvah. And halacha says, the Torah says, you are accredited as if you did the mitzvah. So Zusha told his big shot brother, Rabbi Melech, you, Mr. Super Tzaddik, you always do mitzvah carefully and 100%. You never put in your life in this type of situation, right? Mr. Big Tzaddik. Now Hashem put you in the situation where you can do the mitzvah like this. You never did it like this, right? You should be extremely, extremely happy. He said, you're right. And he started dancing. La, 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 Hasidic dancing. And all the people in the jail cell, they're looking at them. Where'd you guys fall from? They saw they're looking at them. They took everybody in hand. They all start dancing around the toilet. So then the warden comes, what's this noise? And he says, because of the toilet. He said, oh, really? He went in, he took out the toilet, okay? And then Zusha tells Velmach, now you can daven, my friend, okay? Now you can daven. What's the point of this story? The joy was the means, and it was also the solution. That was the solution. You have to go finding, we'll speak to this guy and speak to this lawyer and from the band. You didn't have to do any of that. It was there by just doing the right thing. The warden would have never come if the simcha was not activated. It was all mina shamayim, siyata deshmaya, that it worked out perfectly like that. It was a solution. This again is what Rabbi Nachman teaches. Ki besimcha tetzeu. You're being stressed. Oh my God, we're going to do this up and I have a shalom bayit issue, I have a child issue, I have a chinuch issue, I have a health issue, and you start going nuts, thinking about 5,000 things. I got to call this person, and also you don't know what to do. Here he's telling us, stop everything. Stop. Go into joy. We're going to this Bezat Hashem. Go into joy mode, because this is what's going to save you. This is the key. The pasuk, odapam, ki besimcha tetzeu. You're going to get out through joy, okay? Another parable that Rabbi Nachman brings is a story of a clay digger. You can imagine a clay digger, how much he earns for an hour digging clay. What type of job is that? That's a real shlepi nebech type of job, poor guy. The guy was digging clay in Eastern Europe, digging, and he came about a big chunk of diamonds. He found a giant diamond. He got excited. He took the diamond. He went to the local jeweler. He wanted an appraisal. How much does this cost? He said, I can give you a price. It's humongous. I don't know how much it costs. So what to do? So all I can think of is that you go to England, to the main diamond exchange in London, the biggest one in the world at the time. They can give you a proper appraisal for that diamond. So he sold everything he had. He sold his house, his donkey, his horses, whatever, his table, his beds. He sold everything. And with the money, bought tickets to get to England. His money ran out as he reached the edge of the European continent. No more money to cross the English Channel to get to England. He saw there, parked on the dock, a giant ship. And the captain, he saw the captain. He approached the captain and he said to him, look, he showed him the diamond. Here's my money. My money is right over here. I'm not lying. I have money. I have no cash though. Do me a favor. Let me on your ship, okay? And I promise you, you come with me as we cross into England and we get into London. Come with me to the big diamond exchange. I'm going to sell it. I'll pay you whatever you tell me, your price. He said, no problem. Come, Baruch haba. He took his luggage, took him to the penthouse, the nicest room on this big giant ship. He sat with him. He helped him with the table. And the Jew was hungry, of course. He took out his little toast and whatever crackers he had from Eastern Europe, whatever, his borscht, okay? He took his food there, okay? And he's sitting down eating. And then the captain's, where are you from? You know, schmoozing, socializing and everything. And he saw that he's getting tired, so I'll come back later, I'll leave you. So the captain left, and the Jew left the diamond on the tablecloth, and he's so happy to see it and everything, and he dozed off. While he dozed off, the steward came to clean the table, because it's a 5-star penthouse room, right? The steward came in, he didn't see the diamond. He wrapped the entire tablecloth of all the crumbs, and he shook everything into the sea. Okay, after 10, 15 minutes, the Jew wakes up. Oh, dear Lord, where's everything? It's gone. He flipped out. He freaked out. I'm finished. This captain is going to kill me. Whoa, I'm finished. Done. Okay. Chayav mita. I'm finished. He's a real tough captain, obviously. He's going to kill me. And he was going nuts. Should I do this? Should I do that? Should I tell him the truth? All types of things. And he couldn't come up with a good theory. He said, the only thing I can think of that can save me from death is to pretend and act a fake smile. That can possibly save me. So he started practicing on the mirror, like trying to make fake smiles, trying to make all these smiles, okay? And he's shaking, clutching, waiting for the captain to come back. After half an hour, the captain knocked on the door. And he's shaking, oh my God. He sees in the hole, it's the captain, oh my God. So he makes on the fake smile, and he's like, the teeth and everything, smiling like that. He opens the door with this fake smile. The captain has like a serious face, a serious expression, and a bit submitted. He says, can I come in, please? I said, of course, come in. The captain came in the room. He says, listen, I see you're a very honest guy. I have to ask you a very, very big favor. I have on this ship a giant storage of wheat, a giant consignment. The whole ship, in fact, is a consignment of wheat for England. Tons of wheat. That's why it's such a big ship. And it's packed to the maximum with wheat. And the value, believe it or not, surpasses your diamond. That's how big the ship was. That's how much wheat was on the ship. The problem is like this: since I'm a known captain and a merchant, so the tax rate for me into England is very, very high. However, you're a newcomer, and they have this rule in England that for new merchants, they make it like, oh, there's no taxes at all for the first time they make business in order to encourage trade into England. Do me a favor, let's sign all the wheat on your name. Okay, that way there's no taxes or a little bit. And when we cross after the tax border, give it back to me. The Jew said to himself, thank God, this is what's going to save me. This is going to be my avenue of light over here. So he did that. They went to England, they went to the borders. Okay, the captain's happy and everything. Thank you. All of a sudden he had chest pains. He gasped, collapsed, and died, the captain, leaving all the wheat on the name of the Jew. So Rabbi Nachman, it's a parable, of course, not a true story. Rabbi Nachman's point is coming up now. Rabbi Nachman's point, he says like this: the diamond really did not belong to the Jew, proof being it was taken away from him. However, the wheat is what really belonged to him, proof being that's what ended up with him. And how did he end up with what really belonged to him? Because he put on a fake smile. Just imagine, let's go back to the story. If now he was worried and he opens the door, the captain sees his worried face, he's not going to ask the favor. He lost that opportunity. Because he faked the smile, that was the opening. So he teaches Rabbi Nachman that the key for salvation in life is being happy and even faking it. Yes, faking it, because this is your key for salvation. This is the opening to get to what's really yours in life, and he means it. So now the big question is how? Ribono shel olam, how could I be happy with everything I'm going through in life? So Rabbi Nachman's main advice, get ready for this, guys. Oh boy, I hope this works out today. Rabbi Nachman's main advice, believe it or not, to being happy is by telling jokes and acting silly. So we're going to try one joke tonight, and I hope I can make you guys smile. Why did the chicken cross the road? No, because Colonel Sanders was running after him. And why did the cow cross the road? This is a new one. Why did the cow cross the road? You guys know this, no? To daven Musaf. Okay, more jokes coming up. You see how you're smiling now? It relieves tension. This is not the real simcha, of course. It's stupid. But this will lead you to feeling positive. If you build on it and build on it and build on it, you come to genuine simcha. That's the key, okay? One more thing now. This is going to get you off the shoes, okay? You guys ready? You ready? Oh, my darling, oh, my darling, oh, my... Sing together. Darling, Clementine. Everyone's smiling. Rav, you have to smile also. Come on. Thank you. All right? Acting silly. That was good, huh? You didn't expect that. Acting silly. Mila dishtuta. Even it makes you look like this. But if it makes you happy and makes other people laugh and smile, it's worth it. Because the damage of being serious, and you know, serious Jew, you have to be very done. Everyone North America's walking around with Tisha B'Av attitude anyway, someone like this. The damage from that is far worse than the damage of acting funny and silly, and people look at down as a guy, he's a crazy guy and everything. That damage is still less than the damage of being serious and walking around with Tisha B'Av all day and being serious and trying to serve Hashem out of a serious attitude. Ivdu et Hashem b'simcha. Okay? Ivdu et Hashem b'simcha. That's the key. Ki b'simcha tetzeu. His main advice, Rabbi Nachman, is to act silly and tell jokes. Yes, it's positive. We're not stuck there. It's like the goyim where that's all they have. It's called simcha shel olalut. That they tell jokes, and it's for nothing, for no purpose. We are looking to get back the real simcha. Rav Nosson writes that since the destruction of the Beit HaMikdash, the true simcha of Am Yisrael, our simcha belongs only to us. We say in this farm, the definition of simcha is associated exclusively with a mitzvah. That's simcha. When you take the Lamborghini, like I said, the David Pinto, and you drive around, you buy the nice house and everything for Shabbat and guests and everything, that's the idea of drawing simcha into this world. That applies only to us, okay? Right? So simchat mitzvah is the key to coming to what you need. This is the avenue of B'ezrat Hashem. So with all this said, B'ezrat Hashem, we can now approach the topic of chinuch eventually, but I'd like to build up this more, a few more things. The Ramban, Rav Moshe ben Nachman, he writes in his Chumash, the commentary on the Chumash, that if you look in the Hebrew grammar, the word for the nervous system is called ma'arechet ha'atzavim. Ayin tzadik bet has the same root as the word for sadness, which is atzvut. Ayin tzadik bet. And he points out the Ramban that this leads to damage in this. That sadness is the big killer to make the person's nervous system crash. And that's, as we know in medicine, that is the key opening for liver problems, for heart problems, for stroke problems, for all types of chas v'shalom problems, is that the nervous system is not working, which means the opposite, that simcha is the big refuah, is the big healer, Ribono shel olam. This is how important it is. This is why a person has to weigh what he gains by being happy and what he loses by acting silly. Why it's important to, yes, be happy. Look what you're going to lose, chas v'shalom. You know, when a person goes to a doctor, okay, he has feeling pains and everything, he may be holding at the time before the doctor gives him the bad news, he's holding at level like 5 or -5. And then the doctor says, I have some bad news to tell you. He has terminal cancer, this. He went from -5 to -500 in his health system because of the bad news. Who asked you to open your mouth? The doctor has only permission for v'rapo yirapeh. The Torah says clearly, his job is to heal, not to make you get worse. If now, by telling you bad news, he got you worse, that's not the address. That is not the address, Ribono shel olam. He made you feel worse now. You were at -5 until the bad news hit you, and he tells you, yeah, but I have to find out what's wrong. But you, by finding out what's wrong and then getting a face to reality, made you even worse now. Did you really gain? Did you gain? No, you're not -500 in your health system because of the bad news. Yeah, but I have to work on yourself. Now try to get from -500 to back to -5. Let's see you crawl back there. Okay? It's something we have to really consider, this is one of the things Rabbi Nachman had against the doctors, is that, again, your dependency on them for help, on one hand, it's understood, but the damaging effect that it does, and in most cases it does, is far-reaching. So again, when a person is hit with anything in life, even a malady, his first address should be simcha, should be dancing and singing, okay, and making jokes to lift his spirits high, so that after, if he does get the bad news, since already he's done the maximum to be happy and positive, and in that he got this bad news, it's less damaging now, okay? So again, the point of simcha. Rabbi Nachman's first advice, by the way, we should continue with this, was acting silly and telling jokes. Sometimes though, we have to be truthful with ourselves. It doesn't always work. There are times it doesn't work. He has other advice, he has many advice. We can just list a few of them. Another advice he gives is, yes, putting on some good music. If it's, Yishai Ribo, if it's Yossi Green, Shlomo Karlebach, and if you need Led Zeppelin, I don't know what you need. If you need something to get you happy, you put some music that makes you feel good and start dancing and clapping your hands. Be positive. You're embarrassed to do it in front of people, close your room. You're in the middle of work, having a crazy day, and you're about to blow up. You say, wait a minute, time out. You close the door, tell secretary no messages, nothing. And you blast your music and you start boogieing and dancing even by yourself. Or you take the secretary, if it's a boy, obviously, if it's a boy and boy, you start jiggling and boogieing and everything. But being movement, he teaches, Rabbi Nachman, activates also simcha. It's a big thing. In Rest of Circles, by the way, we dance every day. Every morning after Shacharit and every evening after Arvit, they hold hands, everybody, even the guy with the earring and the ponytail, and the Satmar guy with the nice Buzburich glasses, the Hasidic Williamsburg glasses, and they dance together, Baruch Hashem. There's a circle we dance every day to be Yotze, the idea of dancing, because body movement in that format is very, very beneficial to making you feeling good. If you've ever been to Meron Lag BaOmer, I mean, not this year, unfortunately, this past year, in general, when there's like thousands of people, and they're just dancing, like thousands of people, you want to fly. The simcha of movement and dancing cannot be underestimated, and it's something that if a Jew feels he's so serious, he should do it on a daily basis. Baruch Hashem, Hashem created cars with stereos, with music, and just like those guys, they put the ghetto blast of music, man, and they're putting that. You put your Yishai Ribo, yes, you put your Yossi Gray, you blast it, man, you do it good, you feel good about it. He can do it, I can put my arm, my nice tongue. The shades you do, your competition, okay? Do it, it makes you feel good. That's what's needed, to be positive. Because yes, the way to work on yourself is positive. You think you have to work on your midot, everything. If now you try to work on your midot and try to fix a solution from the negative, the damage caused is much worse than if you first develop a positive platform. And in the positive platform, then the news of what to work on comes your way. You have a positive platform of simcha that anything comes your way, you can now use it as a stepping stone. There's a story about the Baal Shem Tov's trip to Eretz Yisrael, and it's told by Hasidim on the last day of Pesach. In this story, one of the pieces, it's a long story, but a piece that we want to bring up now is the Baal Shem Tov's experience on the night of Pesach with a wealthy couple from Berlin. There was a husband and wife from Berlin. They were childless for 10 years, and all the doctors gave up on them. They said, you guys can't have kids. And this couple loved each other very much, and they really wanted to have kids and didn't give up. They were told as like a miracle worker in the Ukraine, and Mezhbozh, the Baal Shem Tov, go to the Baal Shem Tov. So when they came to Mezhbozh, the Baal Shem Tov had already left on his journey to Eretz Yisrael. They caught up with him in Istanbul. The Baal Shem Tov arrived Erev Pesach in Istanbul. This couple arrived in Erev Pesach. They took the nice penthouse. They were wealthy. They took the penthouse suite in the hotel, and they were looking for the Baal Shem Tov. And then they found him, and he came. The Baal Shem Tov was traveling with his daughter Odell and his student Rav Hirsch Sofer. So they took them and they ate together. The Leil Seder. They did Seder together with Baal Shem Tov. And were scared. They saw how he looked. His Hadrat Panim. They were scared to say anything to him at the night of the Seder. The Baal Shem Tov, in the middle of the Seudah of the Leil Seder, he said to the couple, "I know why you guys came. And I'm telling you, you're going to be blessed this year with a baby boy, B'ezrat Hashem." As soon as he said that, his face turned beet red and his eyes flipped up. He did what's called an aliyat neshama. The tzaddikim, they go up, they see what's happening in the heavenly courts. Odell, the daughter, she said, "I've seen my father many times do an aliyat neshama, but like this, so beet red and scary, panicky, I never saw my father like this." So they're all frozen at the table, seeing the Baal Shem Tov's face beet red and his eyes flipped up. No one wanted to move, they were scared. And after 5 minutes, the Baal Shem Tov closed his eyes. He came out of it and he snapped his fingers and he smiled. He said, okay, I'm going to serve Hashem with no olam haba. No one understood at all what he's talking about. So he explained. He said, as soon as I decreed and I give a bracha that you, this couple from Berlin, will have a baby boy, they're aroused against me a major prosecution in the heavenly court. Who in the world are you, Mr. Baal Shem Tov, in order to activate a miracle that goes totally against the laws of nature? This man is born sterile. This woman is born sterile. They're not meant to have any kids at all. And you're now changing the whole system in heaven of Gilgulim, incarnations and everything, that now they have to have a child. You're mixing up everything. That there were miracles in life, like the splitting of the Red Sea. That's a temporary miracle. But here you're doing a fixed miracle that goes against Hashem's plan. Who are you? So there was a big prosecution. And they ruled, Baal Shem Tov now is going to lose his olam haba. Okay, watch this. So Baal Shem Tov is hearing this in heaven. And of course, the initial feeling is being broken. But he took it and turned it around and he put it into simcha. He says, great, now I can serve Hashem, Hashem Shemayim. There's no more olam haba. Thank you very much. Now I can serve Hashem just for the sake of heaven. No world to come, nothing. And he was even happier. The prosecution said, give him back his olam haba. Give back to him. What does that show you, that point of the story? That shows that even in heaven, the prosecution, their whole thing in punishment and everything is to break a person's morale. The Zohar says on the pasuk in Eshet Chayil, lavush shanim. There's a garment, a doubled shanim means shani is a type of a material. But the Zohar says al tikre shanim el shmaim. The Zohar says that there's two types of Gehinam. There's two types of punishment. There's a Gehinam of fire, fire, no, and there's a Gehinam of ice. The Gehinam of ice, the Zohar says, is even worse. Frozen is worse than the Gehinam of fire. Who gets the Gehinam of ice? Those who gave up and fell into sadness and depression in this world. Their punishment is they go to the Gehinam of ice. Okay, that's the punishment for that. Meaning also that in heaven, when there's a punishment and everything, the main spoking of the punishment is to get a person to be sad and depressed. So with that in mind, if now I'm able to take everything and turn it into simcha like the Baal Shem Tov did here, so he took it, okay, great. He wasn't broken by it. It came his way. It's like shooting a bullet, boom. He has an armored shell. He didn't do nothing to me. He just takes in sounds. It breaks my mind, and hands can never break, right? You're shooting at me, and it doesn't do the job because I have such simcha with myself. Even if heaven's against me, kivyachol, as if heaven's against me, I'm able to maintain what I know is the real truth, which means to maintain a positive attitude. Hashem, the real truth of Hashem is that he's good. He's loving, and he loves you, and he wants you. But the Yetzer Hara tells you, no, Hashem doesn't want you. Hashem doesn't love you. Your good doesn't make a difference after everything you've done, all the crazy things you've done, and you have to get punished. And yes, most people, when they have a crack, especially people who are trying to serve Hashem, they have a major crazy thing happen. The first thought that only comes, Hashem doesn't want me anymore. It doesn't make any difference. They cut their pants, they trim their beard, they start Mechal Shabbat, Chas Shalom, because they feel so dejected and rejected. This is the initial thought. That's the Yetzer Hara, by the way. That's what Yetzer Hara, that's on Hashem. That's the Torah's way to, you have to suffer. You see what the Gemara said? B'chol etzev yeh motar. They told Abaye, 1 second, there's an advantage to be sad. There's an advantage. He said, no, when it comes to Simchat and Mitzvah, which is my life, I have every right to be happy. There's no room for that. Rav Nosson writes, even if earlier books of Musar, Reshit Chochmah is a classic example, they scare a person. What happens to death, what happens in Gehinam, what's going to happen to a person and you're going to burn. Even if 500 years ago it worked, 400 years ago it worked, 300 years ago it worked, today people are so Ribbono Shel Olam fragile, so fragile. You give just a bit of bad news, they crash almost all the way. They go immediately to drugs, to pornography, to alcohol, to crazy things. They just fall to something tiny happened, it just broke them. Today, Simcha is needed more than Musa. That's the main Musa, because that's the avenue how to heal a person and to help a person. This is the key. Okay? All this now, you can approach Chinuch B'ezrat Hashem. Because automatically you can see already, this is Chinuch. This is Chinuch. A classic story, a true story that happened about maybe 100 years ago when all the Jews were coming from Eastern Europe to Ellis Island in New York, okay? So the Jewish families, they were coming in masses, okay, escaping all the pogroms and the difficult situations in Eastern Europe. There were two families that came at the same time, religious families from with their little children and everything. And how was the situation in America back then? The situation was that you had to work 6 days a week and the day off is Sunday, period. If you try to take a vacation, you're fired. So these two guys, they got a new job. They got their new job, okay? And they're planning, we're gonna not go to work on Shabbos morning, okay? And they're not gonna tell the boss. So Shabbos morning came, they celebrated Shabbat. Monday, they lost their job, they had to find a new job, okay? So they went to find another job. But every time you lose one job and you try to find another job, the options now are small. You're now constricting your options because now I can't go back to there, I can't go back there. So every week, they would start a new job and lose it on Shabbat morning, they wouldn't show up, they lost their job. And it would go to it would be like a snowball that just accumulated. So eventually they reached a point where they can't find any job options and they were stuck without a job. That meant that on the Shabbos table, there was no food. Both families, similar scenario. They come to the Shabbos table, there's no food. The father of one family couldn't stand the pressure. He started going nuts. Going crazy, seeing his kids, what are we going to eat? There's nothing to eat, everything. Shabbos table, no food is the biggest killer for a Jew. A Jew knows Shabbat has to be delicacies. So because Shabbos has to be delicacies, just imagine how it is when there's no delicacies. You feel very bad. You feel a big hollow. You built something big in life to have Shabbat. When that's taken away, it makes a big gap. It makes you feel really bad. So this father, seeing his kids with no food, seeing the situation, he was so going nuts. He says, I can't do this. Even though it wasn't pikuach nefesh, it wasn't a matter of life and death. They could survive. It wasn't, halacha is clear. Halacha is halacha. That person's mom is starving to death, then you have to mechal Shabbat and bayam. But this is a case of a psychological test, seeing they're hungry, they can hold on a little, but there's no food to make a normal Shabbos. The father cracked and he took the next job and worked on Shabbat. That man lost his kids. There's no Shabbat at home. Ishmera Shabbat, Kel Yishmereni. If I keep Shabbat, Hashem guards me. When you lose Shabbat, so he lost his kids, they grew up, they intermarried, he lost them. The other guy, the other family. Same scenario, he came to the Shabbos table, no food. And he believed 100% that Hashem is still there. Hashem is the one who decides, not the guy who owns the store and the factory in New York. And he said, this is what Hashem wants of me right now. So we have to be b'simcha as it is. He took his kids, little kids, he put them on his lap, and he was so happy and singing with them the Shabbat Zimmer with no food. He was able to transmit this message of joy, even in such a tough situation. His kids picked that up. They picked up that message. They picked it up. And he had an opening. He found another job, and eventually he found a job where he's the boss and doesn't have to work on Shabbat. Okay? He decides when he works, when he doesn't work. This man succeeded in raising his children in Torah, in Yiddishkeit, yeshivot, and etc., getting married. Okay? What's the point here? Is that the simcha makes all the difference. You have the attitude of being tough with your kids, right? How do you expect them to do Torah and Shabbat, everything? If it always was, do this, do that, You think it's needed. You have to smack the kid and everything. But Rabbi Nachman says you accomplish so much more with the kid when it's done with love and ahava. It's hard. Again, I'm with you guys. It's lip service. It's easy to talk and talk and talk and talk. We all need to work on simcha. We all need to. Okay, I'm talking for myself especially. When you're in simcha mode, it radiates. It radiates. Your kids want to be around you. They love you now. You're their joker. You're the one who makes them laugh. You make them fun. You tickle them and everything. You're there. You're the one that they need. Okay, and then always they stay with you. And when needed advice, also they come to you. Just if we're talking about this, there's this famous joke in Chabad. They tell this story of a father whose his son was falling off the path. And he said, I want to travel to Asia. I want to travel to Nepal, the East, I want you to pay for it. So the father said, I'll pay for it on condition that you wear tefillin every day. So I said, no problem, Dad. I'll put on the tefillin. So he paid for his ticket. He gave him enough introductory money for the first few weeks to have food and dorm and lodgings, whatever. When the money was beginning to run out, so he calls his dad. Hey, Dad. Hi, how's it going? Listen, my money's running out. Can you fill up my credit card again and everything? He said, oh, yeah, my son. I didn't forget of you. I love you and everything. I'm going to do it later on today. Tell me, are you putting on tefillin? I said, yes, Dad. I put it on. He told me to put on tefillin. Of course, yeah. Okay, said, by tomorrow, you should see the money in the account, okay? Tomorrow comes, no money in the account. So he said, the dad, you said you put the money in the account, right? You said, yeah. I just got caught up in some things. It was a business deal. I couldn't close it and everything and this, that. I'm going to do it, my son. Are you putting on tefillin? He says, yes, I told you that. I told you. Okay. Give me 4 hours. It's going to be in your account. 4 hours, no money in the account. Dad, I need the money. I have nothing to pay. I said, okay, I told him I'm going to do it. I kept my word, okay? I'm going to do it. Are you putting on tefillin? Yes, for God's sake, I put on the tefillin. No, you're not. What? How do you know? Because if you did, you would say, I put money in your tefillin bag. I put the money for you in the tefillin bag. Right? Okay? Just went off site to tell that story because it's just like, when a parent succeeds with his children, if he is besimcha, it's obvious and it's known idea that if a person is not happy with himself, he can't be happy with his wife and with his kids. The scenario is the husband comes home from a very rough day, and what's the wife's simcha? To see that first expression on the face. Is it going to be another Tisha B'Av, or is it going to be that he won the lottery? Okay? How does he open the door? My wife was like that, by the way. The first thing she opens her eyes to see, look at his face. Want to see how his reaction is. Okay? It's so important and it's hard. Yetzirah is going to do everything that a man should not come home with simcha, because the whole key for the entire family is simcha. And again, I'm talking lip service. Yeah, we have to work on it. First stage, tell jokes, get into joke mode. Second stage, dance, clap your hands, be in a movement, put on that Led Zeppelin, whatever it is again, put on the music to get you to be happy. Third stage, find your good points. Find your good points. The Al-Sheikh HaKadosh writes that Hashem created man, that the pupil is black. It looks black. The means of sight, which is the pupil, it looks black to show us that it's the nature and tendency of mankind to look at everything black. That's the way a man, that's nature. When you see someone positive, they worked on it. They weren't born like that, or you came from a better family, they weren't like that. You have to work on it. You got to work on it, man. It starts with being positive. You have to work on developing it. Okay? When a person, Rabbi Nachman teaches his most powerful lesson, it's called Azamra, lesson 282, Likutei Moharan. But when a person is able to look at himself positive, then he can look at others also positive. When a father comes home, why didn't you do your homework? He has a beautiful family, a nice wife and kids, and he just attacks the Tisha B'Av immediately, directly. Why didn't you get this? Why didn't you do that? Right to the negative, because he's negative with himself. He's demanding on himself. He's too hard on himself. Yes, there's a term, to be too hard on himself, that he's always looking at himself with dinim, with judgments. So automatically, with the kids, with the wife, it's dinim. What's needed is that a person has to value his good points. It's a killer, but this is what's needed. I davened this morning. Yeah, but I didn't daven properly. I davened at 10 in the morning and everything. I missed my minyan and everything. But you daven. You put on your tefillin. What do you look? Again, the famous thing is the cup half full or is it half empty? It's the same cup. What are you looking at? Nature, tendency, you look at the black. You look at the half empty. But you have to work on looking for the good, B'ezrat Hashem. Again, it's not easy. But when a person gets into this, until it comes out of his nose, like I said, so by instinct, when you're faced with a major challenge, you know that the big option is simcha, as opposed to someone who doesn't know about simcha. So when he's faced with a challenge, he's apt to make the big mistakes, major fatal mistakes. If only I would have known this 10 years earlier and this and this and that. If you had simcha, the chances of being directed by Hashem to do the right things in life would have been there. But no, person didn't do simcha because no one's speaking about it, no one's talking about it, and it's foolish and it's belittling to be happy. Ajab, it's what's going to save you. It's what's going to save you in life when you have that simcha. Finally, another advice that Nachman brings for now maintaining and building and finding simcha and developing simcha is a person needs a tzaddik in his life. You can say, okay, I have Hashem, I have my shul, I have my daf yomi, my art scroll, I have my local rabbi for questions that I have in halacha and everything. I'm set. Why do you Hasidim drive us crazy with a tzaddik and a tzaddik and a tzaddik? You know, leave us alone already. What do you need a tzaddik? You need a tzaddik. You need a true tzaddik. Why do you need a true tzaddik? Because when you're attached to a true tzaddik, he has now a responsibility for you to make sure he's always there for you. That's the definition of a tzaddik. A tzaddik is someone who's worked on himself so much that that's it. He's public property, that he belongs to the Jewish people. His job is from Israel now. He's no longer a personal person. Moshe Rabbeinu became public figure. All the tzaddikim, they're now for the people. They don't have an individual life. They don't have to, that's it. They're sold to the people, meaning They're out there to help a person constantly to get a reboost, a recharge to start again. So a person says, yeah, but I'm all alone. I have no one to talk to in Miami and this and that. Find a tzaddik. Now, a tzaddik, we'll just expand the idea, doesn't necessarily have to be a living tzaddik. It could be tzaddikim who passed on, but their teachings are so vibrant, so alive, so much fire. When you ever connect to their teachings, whenever you connect to their teachings, you feel I got the boost, I got the message, I got it immediately. In a few seconds, I feel that connection, and I got the message, what Hashem is trying to tell me, my situation, and how to handle it, B'ezrat Hashem. It says, Rav Nosson explains, that the first and second Beit HaMikdash were destroyed, fine, they were burnt down. Besides, though, the Kotel HaMaravi, which continues to stand. Also, the Gemara says, I think it's in Moed Katan, the Gemara says that the temple was burnt up to the foundation, but not including the foundation. Ad velo ad bichlal. Meaning what? The roof was burnt, okay, but the foundations of the Beit HaMikdash, the first one and the second one, are still standing. What does that mean? The Yesod in Kabbalah and Chassidut refers to the Tzaddik. It's a pasuk in Mishlei by King Solomon. The Tzaddik, Yesod Olam. The Tzaddik is the foundation, Yesod of the world. In our context, okay, Beit HaMikdash was burnt up to the Yesod, up to the Tzaddik. What does that mean? He says, Vanosin, every person, what they go through in life, whether it's what they did to themselves, whether what other people did to me, you feel burnt out. The brain is like the Holy of Holies, Kodesh Kodashim, and the heart is like the Mizbeach, altar, right? Now, a person goes through so much in life, his brain is fried. His heart is now just poached so much, it's lifeless, and no more emotion, and I'm just burnt out of what I've gone through. If now a person has a tzaddik that he's connected to, the burning is up to there. Meaning what? Is this tzaddik, even someone who's been burnt to the maximum, he's finished. I have no more simcha, no more morale, no more wanting even to start again. If now he has attachment and connection, connectivity, a Wi-Fi connectivity to a tzaddik, that tzaddik is out there for that person. These four options are just a few. There's obviously much more, but these are major advice that a Jew should work on in order to bring simcha. And again, the kids pick up everything. When the kids see the fathers with simcha, that's what they want. Because the Rav Zusha once said, Rav Zusha Nepoli said, that children, you can learn three things from children. Number one, they're always busy doing something. Number two, they don't stop nudging you until they get what you want, right? And number three, they're always happy. They're always positive. They're always looking to be positive, okay? If now you offer them simcha, so you're part of their lives. They grew up with you, they continue with you and everything. You're there for them. You show them that simcha, B'ezrat Hashem, okay? If not, I'll get it somewhere else. Why are there such a father always screaming and always upset and he's not working? I was by someone recently, poor guy, at his table, and his father, religious father, and the son with his smartphone watching all types of shtus, and the father's screaming at the son, take away your smartphone, thinking, you see that's not gonna work. Not gonna work. The guy's gonna say, yeah, I'll do more now. I'll do even more. I'll even poke you to make it more, right? The attitude is simcha. It's like a magnet. And because it's so powerful, it's difficult, but it starts with being honest with yourself. Are you willing to act silly? Are you willing to put on a pom-pom, an anach kippah and start dancing? Are you willing to do something to be happy and tell jokes? Are you willing to go that far? Yes. Because again, it's for you. It's your benefit. If it's gonna bring you the positivity that you need in life, then it can lead for more. We spoke a lot here at Son B'ezrat Hashem. We should all be b'simcha. We should come out of everything. The final redemption B'ezrat Hashem, but also what we're going through. Whenever you're stuck, realize and know and remember that simcha is an option. It's the big option to get you out of B'ezrat Hashem.
Food is served, music will be
Yes, of course. Yes, I'm here now.
Amazing.
Of course, it's amazing.
I wrote a book for I just love to
Okay. 7.